Hey y'all, this is Marley K. Hope y'all are well. Got a lot of good stuff that's going to be coming out for you over the next couple of days, but I wanted to speak on the fact that Henry Kissinger is dead. And I have a personal saying that evil often lives a long time. And that saying is fitting for this man. I don't know if you really know about the real Henry Kissinger and not the one that the media dresses up. But that man was vile. He was very anti-Black. He knew who we were, African Americans. He knew who we were. And he did everything he could around the globe to make sure that other populations shrank so that them children of the corn people can exist and rule over us for, another 2,000 years. So I want to read to you this report that he wrote back in the 70s. It really is a deletion report of other groups of people, non-European people. But I'm going to read you this short spill about what this report was that he created and how, wars and aid and all sorts of things have happened since the 70s, right after the civil rights era and the women's lib and abortion rights was passed. They came up with these different plans to basically conquer the world for the next, couple of hundred years. And they've been very successful. But I want you to see some of the stuff that's in this report or that's mentioned that actually ties into what's happening today. So let's get into it. And why you should not give a rat's baby, you know what, about that man passing. I don't wish no ill will on nobody, but I hope the Most High deals with him accordingly because he has been nothing but vile to humanity and to this earth. As long as he's had power, he's done nothing with that power but evil, no good, not good for humanity. And so him going on is nothing significant for me and our people as far as I'm concerned. So it says the National Security Study Memorandum 200, and this is what they call NSSM 200. So anytime you hear anybody talk about NSSM, it is a really bad plan to get rid of folks and reshape the global order. It was created back in the 70s, and again, it was created after the civil rights era, after the abortion rights laws passed, Supreme Court passed, made a decision on abortion, and after feminism or the women's liberation movement was successful. So they orchestrated this to preserve themselves, basically, because they knew what was going to happen. But that's neither here nor there. NSSM 200 was a document generated by President Nixon's National Security Office at his instruction in 1974. NSSM 200 was the U.S. government's formal response to the feverish effort in the private sector, especially in the latter part of the 1960s, to delete the earth, or else we would all die. Most of these advocates for population control are forgotten, but one that is still known today is Paul Ehrlich. And I'm the only reason that I'm I'm reading this and don't necessarily want to focus on this particular man. I just want to tell you about this report and what it does. But notice that Kissinger's name is on the report. He wrote this report. The population bomb popularized a viewpoint that had already had wide currency among the sophisticates and elites across the world. Political pressure was piled high, and population experts clamored to have their expertise acknowledged and implemented. Finally, in 1969, Richard Nixon gave a speech which called for a national population policy. Federal funding for domestic population control began in earnest with the 1970 passage of Title X. Now, think about what X is used for today. All the things, viruses, social media sites, all sorts of things. Keep that in forefront of your mind anytime you see these demonic people in power making decisions and titling things. They don't do it by accident. They play these games, these little mind games, because they sit and have these meetings and create these plans, and they are implementing these plans. But these plans are old. This was done in the 70s, and we're working now. They are working on things that was planned in the 70s, talking about it, renaming it, laughing, kikiing, because most people don't even pay attention and don't really know what's going on. But I just want to share this with you so that you can see that evil continues to live on in generations. They recruit, they have a pipeline of people that they keep their evil and wickedness going. So their plans never die. The only thing that kills their plans is us waking up and understanding what's happening, what the true goals are for these people, and thwart them. So it says federal funding for domestic population control began in earnest with the 1970 passage of Title X, which began funneling millions and millions of dollars into family planning, a euphemism for population control, and established the Office of Population Affairs. The office still exists. In 1972, Nixon called for a report to be given to him by what would become the Rockefeller Commission report. The commission consisted mostly of private sector individuals and organizations and included men like Bernard Burleson, president of the Population Council. Notice all these organizations no longer exist, or they have changed the name, but the mission is still the same. And Frederick Jaffe Memo. He was the vice president of population for Planned Parenthood, which is why the government still funds them to this day. The commission's report was submitted to the president in 1972, but to the charging of the elites, he did not act on it, at least not publicly and not domestically. Though his response to the Rockefeller report was muted, Nixon directed the National Security Advisor, Henry Kissinger, to analyze the overpopulation problem as it applied to other countries, in particular, developing countries, and contemplate the anticipated impact of overpopulation in those countries on the security of the United States. So y'all following me. On April 24th, 1974, Kissinger issued a directive to a variety of federal agencies to study the matter and make recommendations. The final report, given to the president on December of 1974, specifically acknowledged that the problem was global and therefore included the United States. but singled out 14 countries for more immediate depopulation efforts. What had been largely a private sector crusade now became a taxpayer-supported endeavor. However, by this time, Nixon was up to his eyeballs in the Watergate scandal. He would soon leave the office of the president and be replaced by Gerald Ford, who promptly endorsed the report's conclusions with just a few caveats and concerns expressed about the report's proposed methods, which is NSDM 314. And it's a section of this report, so you'll have to. The report is available. You can look at it. I've written about it, which is probably why I was taken down off of Medium. But I wrote about it, and I wrote about it in a anti. It was for anti-racism piece, but just to show people how anti-blackness is in everything in this country. Even with this NSSM 200, the white powers and the ish powers, because he's ish, which to me is just still European children of the corn, faking the funk, pretending to be us, and targeting us because they know who we are, they know where we came from, and they had specific areas that they targeted. You look at where they targeted with their interventions, you'll see a lot of similarities to the way that we are treated here. Benign neglect was the policy all over the place. Anywho, most people, after reading the final report for themselves, are horrified to learn what the elites were prepared to do, and in fact, may still be doing to their fellow man. At the time of this writing, there is no documentary evidence publicly available that suggests that the policies Gerald Ford directed to the U.S. to implement vis-a-vis NSSM 200 have ceased to be the official position of the United States of America. If anyone has such evidence, this site would be pleased to reflect it. So if you'd like to see the text, it is here, and you can download it. It is linked on this site, and you can go to the USAID website. I will say this: the ish people had their hands all up and through this. And now that we know what we know, we understand why. But I'm mentioning this again because, as you can see, everybody is praising Henry Kissinger, but that man was ruthless. So this is a timeline of the Depop stuff that was going on. And it'll show you who did what, when, and why. And you'll be able to see very few administrations have clean hands. You'll see both political parties played a role in implementing this. And if you actually go look at the report and then go look at USAID and the State Department and follow the money and the initiatives that have been put in place over the decades to help with their efforts proposed in this report, or for the purposes of what was put in this report, you will see that a lot of stuff was done to women and children and men to basically sterilize them. It's just a lot of stuff. I can't even get into it. Again, I read the report and I follow the money and I follow the programs. It's clear that everything is still in effect. Even, if you look at the United States, where abortion clinics are, where Planned Parenthood clinics are, the fact that you can get birth control in schools, how they target, Black schools, Black communities, low income communities. I even remember when I was in high school, I could go get birth control. I could just go to the guidance counselor, to the school nurse, and get birth control, get a pass, go to the clinic and get birth control at 14. I didn't even have to tell my parents. But, and I could be sexually active. I could have birth control. I could get condoms, whatever I needed to facilitate sex and not get pregnant. I didn't realize that, having those things available to us in high school was eugenics. But basically, that's what this man that just passed away has been doing all over the world via war, via birth control, via Planned Parenthood, via genetically modified food, genetic, stuff in BAPs. Baby, y'all need to really understand what we have been enduring in this country, and people all over the globe, in order to preserve white supremacy. I don't care. I know a lot of people don't like me to talk about people of color, but a lot of nations, even though they are against us, we can't just act like our oppressor didn't oppress other people. Yeah, they might all be in a confederacy against us, but it don't mean they didn't get smoked too. And so when we talk about these policies, like, they was an equal opportunity getter when it comes to deleting people who are not white. And this Henry Kissinger, he was responsible for a whole lot of what is going on in this world today. And so I know a lot of people celebrate him because the media does a wonderful job of dressing up their villains and demons. But y'all know I don't do that here. I'm just not doing it. And I want to share with you why I'm not doing it. So I'm going to put this link in the description. I recommend you download that report and read it, because we are living right now, today, what they planned back in the 70s, during the civil rights era, late 60s, early 70s. We are living it. I was born in the early 70s. I am witnessing what they planned 50 something years ago today. This is why you need to understand white supremacy. And I love Neely Fuller. He talks about, you don't have time to worry about nothing else. You need to learn about white supremacy and how it works, because right now it is reinventing itself. This new final beast system, this one world government, these people created that. All this modification of viruses and weaponized and stuff. These people, they pay for this. They plan this stuff. They do this so they could take us out. So there's no reason for us to be sitting around ignorant. All this stuff is public information. It's on the internet. You can download the documents. You can read it for yourself. You can understand what is happening and not be surprised by it. And it shouldn't be that people are labeled conspiracy theorists because they know what the heck is going on, because they read. We should have, a name for stupid people, ignorance theorists, because there are a lot of ignorant people who just do not want to believe anything that you tell them. There's an agenda. The agenda has been set 50 something years ago. And even, you could go back to the early 1900s. You could say maybe 100 years ago. These people have plans. They are instituting their plans and implementing their plans. And Folks are acting like they are none the wiser, but this information is out here, and these people have been living. They are still living. Henry Kissinger died at 100 years old. This year, they sent his old tail to China to talk to the leader of China. This man was still going all over the globe to make sure that the America's interest in yeeting folks, among other things, are still a go. So when you talk about evil and how long evil lasts and how evil is dressed up and sold to you as good, read this report because it got his name on it. His name is on it all up and through it. And then look at how the media talks about him today. They don't even talk about this report. But it's out there because guess what? Taxpayers are still paying for the initiatives and activities that aid in the deletion programs that they have going on still to this day all over the globe, including those that harm African American Black people right here in the United States. So, to all those who are feminists and all those who are for women's rights, and you don't understand why you got all that. You got all that because of this NSSM 200. It was a plan. If women got rights and don't need men and don't like men, guess what? That's babies not being born. So now we got gender wars. Men don't like women and women don't like men. And guess what? No babies are getting born. People aren't getting married. People aren't having families. And when they do have children, the children are screwed up and they end up not liking the opposite sex. So now you got homosexuality, which is also a fruit from all these plans. So when you understand the spiritual ramifications of what was done in addition to the physical or present true things that we are living today that were that had seeds planted back in the late 60s, early 70s, you understand how or why we cannot fix this problem. It's going to take generations to fix, or a miracle from the creator. He's just going to have to destroy everything and start over because these people got their hands in everything and they ain't letting go. You look at the technocracy. Who runs it? The ish people. You look at evil communications, the ish people run that. You look at banking, the ish people run that. You look at government, ish people run that. You look at central banks, who run those? Ish people. They run everything. So you're not you're not gonna escape this. These people are everywhere. You have to just be aware of what's happening and wake up. Try to wake up other people. Not just believe what you see on television because they are selling us our own demise. And a lot of people don't even realize it because they don't read. So in any event, I just wanted to share with you that, yeah, Henry Kissinger is gone. And so what? He wrote this report that is helping to get rid of people and have been getting rid of people for the last 50 years. And he got to live to the ripe old age of 100 and got paid every single day until he kicks the bucket. And I'm sure the next generation of his folks already in place to get paid, even with taxpayer money, our money, going to contribute to our own demise. Wow, they are also neglecting us in the same breath. So if you know, you know. But there's no need to honor that man because that man was pure evil. And whatever they say in the media is a lie. Read the report. Look at what's happening today. Look back over the last 50 years. Look at all the rights and things that were instituted back in the late 60s and early 70s, and look at the impact, especially how it has harmed African American Black people and caused our community in particular to be dysfunctional. And then now knowing what we know, you understand why, which makes it all even more sinister and lets you know they know who we are, but they cannot take us out because the Most High has his hand on our people. If we wake up, come out of her, repent, and turn away from our sins, we could be delivered from this wickedness. But until our people wake up and until our people see that this place is not our home, we live amongst people who do not like us and wish us death, we are going to continue to be in danger. But I pray for our deliverance soon so that we can get out of here, because as long as we're here, we got marks on our back. It really doesn't matter where we are on earth. They're going to continue to target us because they know who we are. We are the chosen people. And ain't nothing they can do about it. And they are not. So, with that said, this is Marta K, giving y'all a brief history lesson on America and the deletion policies that are open out in the public, not hiding from anyone, and things that most people don't even really know about that we are still walking in today because of ignorance. So, in all you're getting today, get some knowledge. Read this report, download it, share it with people, let people know why this man should not be celebrated or tolerated. He should not. All right, this is Marty K, and I'm out.